Hello again, everybody. Harry Boxer, the Tactical Trader at TechTrader.com. It is Tuesday, the 8th of November. Election day is finally here. And the markets had an interesting follow-through session. It wasn't powerful, but it was bullish. Let's take a look at the indices. And here's what happened today. We opened with a little bit of a downward move, held support and exploded, and then pulled back on falling wedges and popped back, couldn't get to the highs. Backed off in the last 10-15 minutes, but still positive session. S&P acted exactly the same. On the hourly charts, you can see the multiple tops in here, the steep pullback, the explosive rally, which is about a 0.618 Fibonacci. As a matter of fact, the S&P looks more like about an 85% rally. A very impressive move on the S&P, taking it from about 2084 all the way up to 2147. A very strong rally, and we're up against resistance in the zone. And we could see a pullback. Obviously, the elections will have a lot to say about tomorrow. But with resistance here, unless we get a powerful follow-through move up towards 48, 40-60 zone, and S&P in the 21-55-60 zone, we may very well get a pullback. But let's take a look at the charts that were of interest today. The stock I spotted after hours that Immune Therapies, AINT, which went public in August of last year, and had been in a downtrend before breaking out, that formed like a V bottom, and then a platform. Look at the last 4 days. I didn't even see the stock at any time in the last 4 sessions. It's gone from 1487 to nearly 21, about a 50% move in 4 days. Now there is a line of resistance up here that tells me that we should look for an extension to get it up towards 22, and maybe all the way up in that zone there, 25.6 area. With 15 days to cover, we could get that. But what I would look for ideally on a move like that is often a pullback. Look for some sort of consolidation for a few days or a week, and maybe we can get a run. I'll be following this one closely, especially with 15 days to cover. Now, AMAG, with some of the biotechs recovering, I'm looking for interesting patterns, especially bottoming patterns. Now, AMAG was up as high as 78, dropped down towards 18. But over the last, say, 6, 8 months, 9 months, actually all year, it's formed some sort of basing pattern. This could be a flat left shoulder, head right shoulder, or rounding bottom. Either way, what I'll be watching is for a move through this zone, right where resistance is. Probably more importantly would be the area around 28, and today closed right on 28. But you can see in April it got as high as 28.98, almost 29. It had a spike high in August. We got up to 29.5. So let's call it 29.5. But I'll tell you that this is something to watch with 12 days to cover short. You may see a run at the gap that was created a year ago and get this up near 34. So my near-term target is the 33, 34 range. And I'll be watching tomorrow to see if there's any follow-through. It's been up to 3 days in a row. Swing trade Amkor continues to really move it nicely. When we got the pop and the pullback, we put a swing on it in the 7.5, 3/4 range. It's now gotten up to almost 11.5 is the high today. And you can see that basically the stock continues to mojo up towards what looks like a target around 12.25. 3.5 days to cover that one. We've noticed AVXS, and I showed you this over the weekend, but boy, despite the big rally yesterday because of the prior 5 days, it stalled, but it had an inside day, and today took off again at almost 2 points or 3%. I think this is going to 78.80. Keep an eye on that one. Now, foreign metals company BHP Billington, a large cap metals company, I think had a key breakout today. If you take a look at the pattern that developed, first it broke across the double top, tested it, and the 50 and the trend line. And today it popped another $1.15 at 3.2%. But it's the kind of stock that I think is designed on making an additional upside move. It could take this towards the 39.40 range up here. Let's call it 39 near term. And beyond that, the mid channel around 41.42. Nektar Therapeutics has really been smoking for 3 days straight up. It's gone from 6 to almost 9, and it's done at a big volume. That's the impressive part to me. With today's volume of 3.3 million, and the OBV moving up, it looks like there's resistance just above here in that 9.25 range. Secondary target would be up around the 9.85 area up here. But I think we're going to get a test of that level. We may very well get more upside that takes this towards 11. Keep an eye on this one, particularly if it pulls back gently and creates some kind of flag. Cannabis stocks did very well today. You can see that CBDS popped out of the wedge yesterday. extended today, and volume picked up to 545,000. The other stock I follow closely in that group, there's a couple of them, but I'm going to I'll show you this one for today. Some of the cannabis stocks should benefit by tonight's voting. We'll see what happens. How about Chemours? What a great looking chart. Now this was a swing here, ran up to there, and then it came down a three-wave, culminating with the Brexit low. And from that level, around 5 3/4, it's literally quadrupled since July, or beginning of July. So you can see how the momentum is taking it out with breakaway gap yesterday, and additional upside momentum. I'm looking for 22.3 short term. DGAS, well, it may be long in the tooth because it's gone from 370 to 9, basically. What a move and what a nice day trade today. Right up against this double, triple top in this area. I would not be surprised to see it pull back at this point, but if it does continue its momentum, next resistance could be up as high as $10. We could see that tomorrow, but if it should spike up to that, I would be really careful with it. It's a little extended. FCX broke out of a little basing area over the last couple months. Went through resistance and popped 80 cents or 7% on 6 million shares. 61 million shares. Now, it looks like with that kind of energy and with a big year-long inverse head and shoulders pattern with a platform here, that we should at least test, in my mind, about 14 short term. You get through that, my target is 18. Should be very interesting down the road for FCX. That's your parallel channel. You can see long term, we can see something in the low 20s. But for now, looking to see if we get a follow through. There's 4.2 days to cover. Silver stocks in general were firm, but Hecla in particular has made a new multi-year high today. How about that? Highest level since 2011. This is a 6-year high. I'm not sure if that's innate to itself. I know they had a good report today. That's probably what was triggering it. But just wanted to show you that HL on 33 million shares nearly exploded to a new high. MindBody. Not much of a gain today, 2%, but I like the way it's setting up a little wedge in here. What I wanted to point out was the volume. It traded 2.7 million shares. A lot of that in one big block today, telling me that something may be up there. I think the stock's headed for the top of the channel near 23.4. And there's 5 days to cover on that one. Well, Microchip Technology, MCHP, popped out of a 3-month trading range, and it did it with 5.1 million. That's the biggest volume on an update since August. I think we're headed towards the top of the channel near 72.3. That's my target. 12 days to cover on that one. Well, MGM popped yesterday and it stalled and pulled back to retest, but it's closed well, up 82 cents or 3%. Looks to me like it may test a 29 range as early as tomorrow. But the top of my channel tells me this continues its mojo. We should see at some point low to mid 30s. MIME, nice pop, retested the highs and backed off, but it was still up 3%. Very strong pattern, very similar to MB. Take a look at that and that. Good technicals, seems to be going higher. I'm looking for 24.5. Well, Nektar isn't quite as strong a looking chart, but I was impressed today with the action, and it closed near the upper end of the range. This is a 8 or 9 day high. What I would like to see is a run towards 1375.80. That's resistance. If we get through that, we break the declining tops line, moving average as well. So that's a key level for it. My ultimate target on a swing trade on this one is going to be 16, folks. OCLR popped through resistance across the declining tops line. Volume was a solid 5.8 million, and it closed near the upper end of the range. I would look for a test of the 9.25 range. 9.25.35 is resistance. Your next target is near 11, 10.85.11. On price line, I just wanted to show this to you because it's a major component of the NDX, and boy, did it have a good 2 days. Yesterday up 56, today up another 98, basically 150 points in 2 days. Breaks it out to new all-time highs with big volume, and with that kind of action, that's really going to help the NASDAQ 100. I wanted to point that out to you. SNCR, good earnings, good move, breakaway, big gap, solid 2.6 million. I think it runs up towards 49.51 zone before it runs into some heavy overhead. 8.4 days to cover. You can see a little bit of a squeeze on that one. And how about soda lately? Popped big time today, $1.86 or 7%, 680,000. But you can see it's up against resistance. It did break the declining top line, the 50-day moving average, after bouncing off the trend line. At this point, I can see the stock making a run at the 30.5 area, and then followed by 34. I'm still hearing takeover. Smith & Wesson. Well, you can see that the declining channel was broken, got the resistance and backed off, forming a little inverse head and shoulders and a breakout 2 days ago. It's been following through. I'm looking for this to test this level up here near 30.5, 31, and then down the road, if this continues to push, you could see that stock in the high 30s. Just 5.25 days to cover on that one. One of the other marijuana stocks that I follow is CGC.TO. The American equivalent is TWMJF. It's Canopy Growth. This wedge was broken to the upside today. Its volume picked up to 570,000 shares, and I'm thinking, even if it just goes on this angle, we should see that stock get up near 7.25.5. Lastly is Vail, which is similar to Billington. It's an international metals and mining company with a beautiful chart. V bottom, wedge, pop, pullback, ascending wedge, breakout, retest, and then pop. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the stock trading near 9 pretty soon. There's 6 days to cover in that one. And folks, that's it on the long side tonight. I'll talk to you tomorrow in the trading room. And let's see how the elections go. Good night.